Hi, I'm Jeremy Hatfield. This whole inspiration for me for filming kind of came along at I think kind of an early age, or well, maybe not so much. I was going to high school at the time, and there was this house that we had moved into. When we finally had our computer set up, I was going on with it because I was kind of an internet junkie, and that was like my thing. I just kind of go on there, like to surf YouTube a lot, um, entertainment, just to learn new things, whatever came up. And one of the things that I saw on there was that we had this Movie Maker program on it. I think that's Movie Maker was literally what it was called, and I opened it up and realized what it was, and I got a chance to just kind of mess around with it and see what it, check it out for myself to see what I could do with it, or if it was even worth time to play with. And what I ended up doing was some of the software that was pre-installed on there, or not software, but footage. I threw in the timeline, and I kind of made a little video of it, like a little short film, I guess you can say. And when it playing back, I thought it was kind of cool. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't really shoot it, but I did the edit portion on it. So after that, I was like, okay, so what else can I do? Well, then I found a old camcorder, those little mini ones you can probably make a home video with. It's handheld, pretty easy to use, and I thought it was really interesting. So I took it around, just filmed anything. Like if it moved, I filmed it. I did a lot of family gatherings with it, and I think at one point I tried to do a stunt video or something with it. Just, I was being a kid. Well, one of the things I found interesting was that when I finally took all the footage, and I tried to use all of it, but of course, there's some footage that's just not usable. Well, I threw it all together, and I made a video out of it, and my parents were checking it out, and they thought, it's like, okay, this is really cool. This is what you're doing with your spare time. You're not killing yourself or getting in trouble, so yeah, kind of gave me congrats on that, because I'm like, okay, well, cool, and I know, now we don't have to worry about you as much. So, so yeah, I went around, filmed more stuff. That's what I was doing, and when I was going to Florence High School, I noticed they had a couple film courses. And I remember going back to my parents' house, like, oh, cool, it's filming something that I can really enjoy, and I liked it. Little did I know, later on it was gonna blow up and be a bigger interest of mine. So what I ended up doing was I took a couple of those courses. I think one of them was American History Film, where we watched a lot of movies, and little did I know I was gonna learn so much. Like there's a lot of older films way before my time that we were watching that I thought was really interesting. There's things that they did in the movie that happen, on cue or on accident that just kind of went with it, and it was kind of cool to see how things happen just by coincidence alone. Well, when I started taking more elaborate courses, like I remember I was working in a TV studio. Well, volunteering in a TV studio at high school, or at that current high school. We were doing TV announcements after a while when our principal heard that we won a film festival. I think out of like 500 entries, we ended up taking, or at least I ended up taking third place. So I was like really ecstatic because I never win anything, or at least it feels that way. But so what ended up taking place from there was that my teacher noticed that I've been doing a lot of classwork, and I've been like super excited to get all this going. So I worked side by side with him, and helped a lot of the lower classmen that were in that class with the different effects, like the different production phases, the editing portion of it, the actual filming, when it came down to even lighting, script writing, stuff like that. I was right there to really get more involved with it, and it was cool too because I felt like I was actually teaching the class a little bit. But so yeah, it was just kind of that. That's kind of like what I guess was my launch off. I don't I don't know if you can. I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but that was like my point where I was like, okay, I'm really into this. I want to keep going with it. So this is actually the third school I've attended to get this thing to kind of like get this going and see what I can learn off of it, because it's something I want to keep pursuing, and it's it's a passion of mine. I have a sometimes I like to think that I have a very creative and abstract sense of mind when it comes to things like these, because you always sometimes got to think outside the box. That's how the most that's when your best work comes out, when you're not thinking in a you're not thinking and just get writer's block or something. So yeah, so my first college I went to was it was CAC. It was a community college. I was a liberal major student, and I really didn't like it at all, to be honest. I think I learned how to use Photoshop a little bit, but it wasn't really as in depth as I wanted it to be. So I just ended up lost interest in it. And then my second school was Scottsdale Community College, and unfortunately that didn't work out just because of my work schedule. My work schedule, and I was really bummed out because that was the first hands-on work I got to do other than what I do at home, and it was that was kind of my time that I thought I was gonna shine a little bit. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but the third school, third time's the charm. I guess I don't know. I'm still kind of pursuing everything, and I'm really enjoying it, loving it to death. So, but that's what got me into Full Sail University. My previous job made me worry a lot, and it's caused it's my anxiety levels have just they haven't exactly became the greatest, because I used to work for the Arizona Department of Corrections, and I worked a maximum security unit where everything was just straight lockdown. So it's you're constantly worried about having to watch your back, or worried about how the day's gonna go. If you're gonna walk out with as many holes as you walked in with, and it's all the brave men and women out there in law enforcement that are able to do this every day, like I did it for 5 years. It's my heart goes out. My heart goes out to all these individuals, because it's a tough job, but it's all bravery and guts. Sometimes you just have to step forth and do what you need to do to get something done, and that's what I did the last 5 years of my life. So I had to get out of there. I was worrying my friends and family. Every time something came on the news, they were always worried about if there was a riot that broke out, or if I was the one that was taken hostage, or if I was the one that got wounded. So it wasn't exactly something that I pictured myself being in for another 20 years. A lot can happen. A lot can happen in 20 years when you're security staff in a prison. So fortunately, I got out of there, and it gave me more time to be able to work and keep my studies in focus, and help me out with school more. And God knows I've enjoyed it. At times it does get tedious, but I know out there in the real world where it's probably 100 times worse than it is now, you really you got to find a way to persevere. You got to keep pushing through. Otherwise, there's movies out there that almost didn't happen because someone just had to think creatively. How can I get this done? How can I do it? How can I succeed and keep moving forward? And that's what I think of myself. But when I keep mentioning inspirations, one of my biggest inspirations is my little sister. She a little while ago she told me that I'm the reason why she moves forward. I'm the reason why she's she's kind of just leaving her past as her past, and she's moving forward, and she's trying to pursue what she wants to do, because she's seen her big brother do it and he's still doing it. She knows it's possible. It might be hard, but it is possible. And it kind of touches me a little bit, to know that we're both inspiration of each other. It's such a cool feeling knowing that I can inspire someone else to do what they want to do and not give up and keep moving. But also to conquer your battles, or even figure out ways to get around your battles. Um, with that being said, I found myself more interested in trying to, I'd watch other movies and become this huge film junkie that everyone knows, and that's kind of like my homework, because I enjoy watching how they do it, the behind the scenes footage, how they came across problems and then fix them. So I think, if these lower budget movies can do it, and they have little to no money to do this, and they still made the movie happen, what's saying I can't do that? So, given my luck, my perseverance this far in finding this goal, this is kind of, this is my Full Sail has given me the tools that I have to learn more and achieve more. Given this new equipment that's made everything a little easier for me to get that done, and then it's very fast paced, but I feel that Full Sail's, for me, it's what's making this reality real. Everything that's in front of me is real. I'm not going to be that woulda, coulda, shoulda guy that got a little, that got a little scared. What happened in front of me, what I have in front of me is my life. What I have in front of me is the perseverance that I've gotten this far and kept me focused so that I can do what I need to do. And for that, it's filming.